The famous East Cobb Baseball Complex in Marietta, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, is the site of our Game of the Week, presented by Launch Hydrate. Today, the P27 Academy taking on the TNXL Academy in the National Academies Association Premier Bracket Championship round. I'm Brett Dolan, delighted to be with you today. We've had teams that have taken divergent paths to get to this point, but certainly two of the very best. And let's take a look at our visiting team and our starting lineup today for P27 out of Lexington, South Carolina, their head coach, Corey Warner. And again, they have had to play 5 games to get to this point here today with an early win, then a loss. They jumped into the losers bracket and rolled off 3 straight wins. The 3 hitters that we will see at the top will be Treon McFarland, Lucas Alberti, and Ethan Wagner. You see the remainder of the lineup: Lawson, Turner, Alamais, Morales, Willis, Johnson, and Soto. Going up against TNXL Academy, we'll also introduce you to their starting pitcher today. And again, with only playing 2 games to this point, I feel like they've got to be really loaded with some arms and some pitchers. So we'll see how they allocate those. We do know they will start with Greg Bruno. He is a Georgia Southern commit, a Staten Island, New York native. And give you a little bit about the scouting report of Greg Bruno, the self-provided scouting report. He'll be in the very upper 80s, even in the low 90s. He's hit 93. He'll mix in a changeup with some sink. He calls it a cut slider. He throws kind of an in-between pitch between the cutter and the slider, and might also mix in a curveball for Greg Bruno. The young man again out of Staten Island, New York. And ready to go to Georgia Southern. He is a 2024 grad, so wrapping up the academy portion before we head on to college. And see the overcast skies today in Marietta. Hasn't quite hit Hotlanta status yet. We're in the 60s. Maybe a little threat of rain later on today. Very little wind, and played on turf at East Cobb. Our plate umpire here in our championship game, Lee Pearson. John Poulin will umpire at first. Chris Nielsen will be over at third. And Treon McFarland ready to step in. McFarland, a South Carolina native, an Ellie De La Cruz fan. Ready to go against Greg Bruno. Son of Gregory and Andrea. And the first pitch of our game is on the way, and that's a little tapper hit towards third. Might be a tough play on the carpet. McFarland racing down the line. He is going to reach as the ball sneaks away. Not quite a swinging bunt, but a little dribbler to the left side, and the carpet started to absorb some of that. And McFarland was able to reach. See Herb try and make this play and throw on the run. I think McFarland was going to be safe, and the ball was retrieved, so no further advancement. Brings up Lucas Alberti. We talked about the path that P27 had to take in their second to last game. They had a 14-10 win. All Lucas did was hit a pair of home runs. As he takes a pitch up and in, also scored 3. McFarland and Wagner also had big offensive games, but the George Mason commit, one of the many Canadians we'll see in this event. Lucas Alberti ready, and the pitch from Bruno. That's at the belt for a called strike. Off and running was McFarland. He got a good break in that one. Well, he was tagged out. So McFarland, I thought he had a pretty good break, but what a throw by Guthrie to eliminate the base runner. I'm wondering if maybe he popped off the bag just a bit. Looked like he was there in plenty of time, and you see him just slide right on by, and that's it. So, I mean, that will happen from time to time when it's a little bit wet. You'll just skid and slide. So will look to be a stolen base. Results in a caught stealing instead. And Alberti's going to take a strike over the outside edge. Lucas is a Mookie Betts fan, but as you can imagine, from Canada, he's also played some hockey. He's played some lacrosse. Took that pitch a little bit down. So a leadoff base runner quickly erased. And now Bruno back from that full windup, trying to finish off Alberti, and that one is way outside. Greg feels like he's really progressed as an overall pitcher. Use that arsenal to throw hitters off balance whenever he has to. As part of the Little League World Series in 2018, and he threw a perfect game to make it into Williamsport. Well, he's given up a base runner, got a caught stealing, and then walks Lucas Alberti, and another base runner for P27, and it brings up Ethan Wagner. In the game that Pro 5 or P27 lost to Pro 5, Wagner had a couple of home runs. There's a pitch for a strike over the outside edge. Tennessee native. They see the stats on the year. 8 home runs for Ethan Wagner. Couple of homers, 3 runs batted in that contest against Pro 5, which was a 9-3 win. That was the game that got P27 to this championship contest. So again, they've lost one where TNXL has gone 2-0. And TNXL had a bye to begin with out of the 17 bracket, so that's an advantage. They won their first couple of games to advance all the way to this championship. Been a longer route for P27. They love to get off to a good start today. And that one is high to Ethan Wagner. Wagner is an Adolis Garcia fan. That pitch was yanked, not close. Snap toss back to first, and that was close. Want to be aggressive on the bases this early start. Maybe a little bit wet out there. You slip, and then you have to skid and race to quickly get back. 2 balls and a strike to Ethan Wagner. Goes by JV. Of course, that doesn't make much sense with his initials, but nonetheless, he was born in Chicago, Tennessee commit. And he says about Academy baseball, there's nothing like it, just physically and mentally being tested. And when came in on the hands and he found one back, and certainly playing with and then against good competition. So not only over the course of their season, but also an event such as this. Son of Derek and Jenny. Trying to use that size and that strength. It is an open upright stance, and the pitch is a little bit high. Now the count has gone full to Wagner with Alberti at first, facing Greg Bruno in our championship game. But again, if P27 would win, they would force the if game. Wagner waiting. Here's a pitch, and that floats outside, and that is ball 4. So a pair of walks. And worth repeating, having only played a couple of games for TNXL, I would imagine there's a handful of arms that they have available. The pitching and the allocation for P27 will be a little different, considering you've played 3 more games. And got a quick conversation with our umpires before Brendan Lawson steps in. So again, our 3-man crew getting together for a conversation. Lee Pearson, John Poulin, and Chris Nielsen. Not even sure what they could be discussing after a pair of walks. Really nothing impactful happened over the last 5 or 10 minutes after that caught stealing that looked like a clear stolen base before McFarland just kept skidding right on by. Otherwise, bases might be loaded. And this is just getting to what I was talking about. They're looking at the glove, and we saw this with the Astros' Raniel Blanco the other day. And sometimes they don't like the differing colors, but this is clearly a black glove, so they're kind of feeling on it, maybe to see if there's any substance whatsoever. Of course, in the big leagues, that's a 10-game suspension if they find something. I'm not sure if there's an issue here where maybe they might ask for another glove or whatnot. So now the glove and the baseball is going to be walked over towards the head coach of TNXL, Brian Martinez. So we've got a real confab and a conversation and a conference going on right here. Clearly, I think if you're bringing out Bruno's coach, they're going to throw Bruno out of the game. Just going to say, if you're talking to the coaches, then they've spotted something they don't like. Now, the question came up from Corey Warner, and you know, again, after a couple of walks, you thought, well, that's unique in the sense that had there been a couple of strikeouts or some real movement on the pitches where maybe there'd be a question, but our umpire has the glove and is walking away with that. What he's going to do with it, I guess we'll find out, but looks like it might be handed to somebody, a PG official. But it looked like Bruno was thrown out by our umpire, and if that's the case, then TNXL will need to find a new pitcher, and it'll be a lengthy warm-up process. So, indeed, here comes a new pitcher walking out to the mound after a couple of walks with one out here in the top of the first inning. And here's the conversation, and you just see there's the ejection. So, must have been something on that glove, whether it's, you know, something sticky. Obviously, there's different substances that we've heard about pitchers using at the major league level that they've really kind of concerned themselves with, and maybe not so much at the collegiate or youth level. But Colton Jones now comes on, and this will be treated like an injury in that Colton Jones, the Michigan native, will be given plenty of time to warm up. A Florida Gulf Coast commit, another one of these 2024s, and most of these kids are, although there are a handful of players we might introduce you today that are 2025s or whatnot, but a lot of guys that have come through the academies getting ready to go off to play college baseball, whether they arrive on campus this summer, kind of get settled in, or certainly this fall and jump back into fall practice. But Colton Jones taking his time to get loose. I can't imagine he was warming in the bullpen in the top of the first inning. So he'll try and take all of his tosses on the mound rather than continuing in the bullpen. Might as well, right? We'll tell you a little bit about Colton Jones as well as he goes through his warm-up tosses, and no shortage of time to do that. Greg Bruno no longer in the game, and Colton Jones in. And Rochester Hills, Michigan is where he is from, and he says Academy Baseball's taught him to compete at a high level. Son of Scott and Wendy. He's got a younger sister as well, and he's a Trevor Bauer fan, and I guess he enjoys how in-depth Bauer goes in explaining and reading hitters' swings and pitch sequences and whatnot. Big golfer when he's not playing baseball as well. Might have an aspiration someday of working in the business or finance world. So he wants to play scratch golf as well. We're going to find out a little bit more about that ejection as well. And there might have been a quick conversation between the two head coaches. So obviously Corey Warner has to kind of bring it up to our umpire's attention. In the major leagues, they might check you at random half innings just to look at that glove early and maybe a little bit late to see if there's any issues as we have an ongoing contest. But this is one more look at what we just witnessed. The umpires grabbed the glove, reached in, and obviously it didn't take them long to come up with some sticky stuff. And pitchers use that for a number of different reasons. Sometimes it's about grip, sometimes it's about manipulating the baseball, and obviously that's baseball's concern when it comes to the major league level, at least, that spider tack or some of that sticky stuff might influence the spin, give those hitters kind of an unfair look at a pitch that has too much movement, too much break. But interesting that, you know, it's kind of matriculated its way down through the college ranks and whatnot, and it looks like we're ready to go after the ejection. So Lawson is the hitter. Big lanky left-handed batter, and that pitch falls in a little bit low for ball one. In the last game that P27 played, Lawson had a couple of hits and 3 runs batted in. Also with a homer in their very first game, which was an 8-0 win. It probably feels like a week ago, but a couple of days back for Lawson.
Get that footing,
Another kid out of Canada from Toronto holds those hands high and takes a strike at the knees.
Good, you like it, Freddie, get it.
Bryce Harper fan is Lawson. See the base runners as well. 2 on, 1 out. That pitch fell back and out of play.
That way, stay right on that. Good cut.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lost some plays for the Ontario Blue Jays going off to the University of Florida. Really stands close to that inside line in that batter's box. And the pitch, that one's not close and outside.
Here we go, battle.
He wants to be a pro baseball player, as you could imagine. Batting cleanup for P27. And the next pitch hit hard on the ground to short. Maybe an opportunity for 2. That's going to be a double play. Lines took it himself. He didn't even risk the flip. It was a sprint to second base. He had to throw on the run, got enough on that toss to get the DP on Lawson. Watch this play. See where the second baseman is. There's no chance for a flip. Had to take it himself. Throwing on the run in the air. Gets the DP to end an eventful top of the first inning. Hey, we're off and rolling. Our game of the week presented by Launch Hydrate, the National Academies Association Premier Bracket Championship at a scoreless but very eventful top of the first inning. And TNXL, the number 1 seed, 2-0 so far. This is their lineup. Valdez, Belisario, and Lines will be the top 3. Just saw Lines make that really interesting double play turn. Followed by Martinez, Erb, Jabez, Brewer, Guthrie, Gummersbach, and Thompson for head coach Brian Martinez. Now the pitcher they will see for P27 is Joseph Yamamoto, wearing number 76. He is from Hiroshima, Japan. So it has been a path for him to get there at Tennessee. Interested in playing at Tennessee, but his father Anthony and mother Miami, I believe, if I'm saying that right, or Mammy. He's a Shohei Ohtani fan, and probably no surprise there, the best player in the world, and loves to watch Shohei pitch or hit. Well, it's Yamamoto who's on the mound here this morning. He says his velocity has gained a mile an hour since January. It was 88-ish, now kind of throwing 89, working his way towards that 90-mile-an-hour barrier. But an interesting background between playing academy baseball in South Carolina, hailing from Japan, and he's also been part of the New Zealand national team going back to U15 and U18, and said he was selected to U23 last week. So he's got a story within a story, and he's ready to work. Here at the bottom of the first to Jorge Valdez, the left fielder. We got to move that Rosenbag. Our hitter said, wait a minute. He was right there at his feet. So Valdez steps in, and the first one is in there for a called strike. Well, Valdez, first game that TNXL played, it was a 12-5 win. He went 3 for 3 with a handful of runs scored 3 times as well. So doing what leadoff hitters are supposed to do, part of a 12-5 victory. Got a couple of 4-run innings in that game and scored in 5 of the 6 innings, did TNXL. Love to get on the board here against Yamamoto. You know, we ask these guys to kind of provide a self-scouting report. Certainly for pitchers, it helps. I think Yamamoto took it to a level I've never seen before, as his pitch finishes a little bit low. And a lot of guys might kind of give you what they throw and how hard they throw or whatnot. He kind of ranks himself on a 1 to 10 scale. Well, he works fast, got a little twist to his body, and there's a big chopper off the carpet. Going to take a quick flip from the second baseman. It's going to be in time as Lawson handled that calmly. Didn't get too rattled. Able to take the big bouncer, field and throw on one motion. Right here, he's kind of timing that arrival at the baseball, and it was a quick flip to retire Valdez. And it brings up Belisario. He had a home run, couple of runs driven in, part of a 3-2 win against Pro 5 that advanced them here. So Belisario got his home run out of the way.
Here we go, Cam.
Staten Island native. Got a hanging breaking ball and sends it out into left center field for a base hit. So Anthony with the single to provide TNXL with the first base runner. Played back in by McFarland. Just hit one over the head of the shortstop Soto. McFarland retrieved it, played it back in quickly. See the 365 number on the gap in left center. This is Jack Lyons, made a nice turn of that DP in the top of the first inning. A little better bend and break on that one, and Lyons will wave and miss. Lyons had a 2-hit game, scored a run, drove in a run in the first contest that TNXL played. Another left-handed batter, a little bit of bounce off that shoulder. And that one is on the outside corner. I was telling you about Yamamoto, though. He says his strength is a 5 out of 10. His pitching skills are a 7 out of 10. His off-speed pitches, though, are 9 out of 10. So maybe that's something to work for. He thinks he can be a better baseball player working out of the stretch, and he runs one up and out for a ball. He says he eats ramen almost every single day, and he could eat sushi once a week or so. He's got a little tap it to that glove. He'll take that ball out and tap it again. You can see it here. Here's the release, taps it again and throws. This ball drilled into the corner by Lyons. Will it stay fair? It will not. Towards the pole, the 325 marker. Lyons sent one into the Georgia trees, past a few parents or bystanders. Just haven't heard many guys kind of evaluate themselves on a 1 to 10 scale, but I think it's interesting. Off-speed pitches is what Yamamoto gave himself the greatest grade on. Would he throw a changeup here and try and get Lyons out after he yanked one hard but foul down the line and right? Alamais is catcher, and that pitch down. Alamais 7 tried to bring that back up and frame it just a bit. Ground out in a single here in the bottom of the first inning.
Here we go, Cam.
Flip to first, and Belisario back in diving. Is that a balk? Indeed it is. So we had what looked to be a stolen base turn into a caught stealing when the runner went skidding by the base at the top of the inning. See the balk here? Yeah, that little glove twitch and then not thrown. Well, that'll do it every time. I didn't see the non-throw, and then Yamamoto can't believe it, but he didn't step off. He was in that pickoff motion and just didn't throw the baseball.
Hey, here we go, D.
Base hit now would provide a run for TNXL. Boy, it's been an odd first inning, hasn't it? Already between an ejection in the top. Different pitcher already, and then Yamamoto with a balk when he didn't throw to first. Lyons waiting, and here's a pitch.
Good pitch.
That one shot foul.
Good pitch.
Yamamoto says his mindset is a lot better than before he came to the States. He said, now when I'm pitching, I feel like I've got this. I'm better than them. But when he was in Japan, he was a worrier. worried all the time. He was a little bit nervous. I think anybody always likes to get off to a good start and put up a 0 to kind of propel their performance or their start forward, and that one is tap foul by Lyons. He tried to hold the bat back but couldn't. But regardless, Joseph working with some traffic on now with 1 out in the bottom of the first. Yamamoto, a check of the runner on the pitch. That is upstairs between the belt and the letters. Called ball 3.
Gotta come to you.
Always curious early what the strike zone might look like. Will it be a tight one? Will it be an expanded one? The hitters and the pitchers always curious. This confrontation alone has felt like it has gone on forever with a couple of foul balls and the balk and whatnot. But now the count's full, and here's the pitch. A little bit of a hanger, and Lyons just smashed one, but foul again. What's interesting, you got a catcher behind the plate, named 7, and a batter in the box with number 7. If somebody's yelling, go 7 behind the plate, they might not be sure who they're talking to. Here's the pitch. That's Anthony's for called strike 3. Good pitch. Lyons tossed his bat aside, but that was just perfectly placed. Anthony's from Yamamoto, who won this extended at bat. Looked like that was a really good pitch. Alamace tried to bring it up just a bit and frame it. Strike 3 was called. Yamamoto now trying to end this inning.
Here we go, Tree.
Facing Derek Martinez. Big kid, 6'4", Florida native. Played for Canes American, uncommitted. He'd love to go to Florida State, but he is the cleanup hitter for this TNXL team. Boy, it looks a little bit like Aaron Judge right there, the way he fills out that batter's box from front to back. Pitch floated in, and Martinez took a big whack at it, came up empty. Mark goes by D-Mart. He'll be a 2025, a graduation year of 12 months from now. On the corner, good pitch. Tell you what, if you're Martinez and you watch that extended at bat with Lyons, then he throws you 2 really outstanding pitches and you're down 0-2 before you can even blink. Yamamoto comes set, a little tap back in that glove, and that's a ground ball up the middle, but it's in the center for a base hit past Soto. Here comes Belisario to the plate. He'll dive across with the game's first run. A 2-out, 2-strike single by Derek Martinez. Off the bat, it was going to be to the left of the pitcher's mound, but you can see how far Soto was over in the hole. There was no chance whatsoever. McFarland came up with that baseball. It was cut on the mound, and TNXL with a 1-0 lead. Really good job by Turner to track that down, to catch that throw, to keep it from maybe going over near the dugout or the backstop or whatnot. Might have provided an extra base for Martinez. As it is, Martinez gets the RBI. And this is Tyler Herb, who's the second baseman. He's going to ground one into left center field for a base hit. It looked like Soto was cutting over, maybe on a stolen base attempt. If that was a hit and run, it was executed to perfection as Martinez goes to third, and Herb just rolled one past Soto, who could not retrace his steps. And indeed, it was a hit and run. So Soto, instead of having that ball go right to him, he was in no position to make the play, and that was well executed. So Herb out of Mount Dora, Florida. Florida Gulf Coast commit, gets a single. Now there's runners on the corners with 2 outs. And the batter is Keenan Jabbeth. He goes by the nickname the Captain. Pitch to Keenan is a strike. Throw down is going to result in an attempt of a steal at home, and safe is Martinez. Herb stopped. He drew the throw down to second. Martinez came down the line and gets the steal, so that'll be a double steal, a steal of home. And Martinez waited for the throw from Alamace, and once he got it,
That's no big deal. Let's go.
Felt like he had a pretty good chance to score and make it 2-0. It's almost one of those upon, hindsight. You consider letting Herb steal that base rather than risking the steal of home. The pitch to Keenan fouled at the plate. Let's see this one again. Right here, the base runner just stops between first and second. Tyler Herb, and then Martinez. You couldn't see him break, but obviously he got there quickly to get the steal of home. It's a good look at Keenan. 6'2", 186 pounds, FIU commit. Says he has matured on and off the field during his experience at the academy and gotten better with his offense and his defense. Son of Michelle and Maurice.
Here we go, E.
Big Ronald Acuna fan because of the confidence and the swagger he plays with. He'd love a base hit to make it 3-0 when it looked like Yamamoto was putting himself in a position to get through the inning. He'll get the wave of a miss here. Is Yamamoto the strikeout to end the inning, but TNXL playing some small ball, using some speed. Plated a couple of runs on 3 hits. Off to a 2-0 lead in our perfect game. Game of the week brought to you by Lunch Hydrate. Bring you back in East Cobb, 2-0 TNXL with the advantage. P27 had a couple of runners on base, 1 out in the top of the first, did not score. And then with 2 outs in the bottom of the inning, TNXL pushed across a couple of runs. So P27 has some work to do. They need to win this game to force the if game. Facing Jones, who came on after the ejection, faced 1 batter and got 2 outs. And it'll bring up Cameron Turner to lead things off. Richland's North Carolina native, a UNC Charlotte commit, and he goes by Big Country, the nickname. And I bet coaches tell me every team needs a big country. Well, for P27, it's Cameron Turner in there from the right side. Son of William and Angie. And that's a good pitch from Jones to start the top of the second inning. Turner loves to watch Aaron Judge play because he hits absolute bombs. That one's off his hands and fouled away. Cameron says the way his game has improved the most over this last year is just barreling up more baseballs over and over, which is always a great feeling. Down in the count, 0-2. Jones will wind and pitch, and again, that was right off the batting gloves. It looked like that was riding into the right-handed batter, but Turner was able to foul it away. Turner had to come back from a torn UCL. A lot of prayer and determination, he said, to kind of get through that injury. That's a chopper off the carpet. Who wants this one? His line's even going to have a play. He does not. Big Country legs out an infield hit. Feels like that's about the 3rd ball that's been chopped into the carpet. And for the most part, these fielders have navigated it fairly well. There was just really no chance for Lyons. He was just waiting for that ball to come down, and it refused. It was up there so long that Turner was able to race to first and beat it. Here's the catcher, 7 out of Mace. No stranger to perfect game and PG events. Get a pitch to hit here and rolls one fair. Handled at third base by Herb. No chance to get out of Mace, who homered in the first game that TNXL played. He's looking at a double there, but gets a base hit instead. That's a pair of infield singles. One a high chopper, one ball that was smoked. Here comes one of the extra hitters. In Morales.
Stand that right center, baby. Stand that right center.
Morales in an 8-3 win that P27 had.
There it is.
With 3 hits, couple of runs batted in, and that one is fair into the corner off the bat of Morales. Retrieved by Belisario. It's going to produce a run. Here comes Turner. The throw to second base is in time. Line supplies the tag. Morales will not get the double. He will settle for an infield single. You watch this ball punched inside first. Martinez was way off the line. Otherwise, that ball's to him. Belisario came up with that ball, and what a throw in the air to second base. And it looked like Morales just came off the bag again. So each team gets something, a run for P27 and out. And also Adam Ace at third base. So it's a 2-1 game and a chance to tie it up for Carson Willis, the DH. That one's going to kick away from Guthrie. Heading to the plate without a play is Adam Ace, scoring on the wild pitch to tie things up at 2. So Jones got that big throw to second base, then he just yanked one. And all of a sudden, a brand new game.
Yeah, he's just wet and slick out there.
Carson Willis from Rogers, Arkansas. They
Come on, Carson.
see him play for Rawlings Prospect. There's another one that wasn't really close. Carson Willis, an Arkansas commit. 2024, goes by Cap or Captain. See the 3 home runs he's hit this year. JT Realmuto fan, and that pitch was stroked into right for a base hit. Willis hit one over the leap of Thompson. That is 4 straight singles with varying degrees of authority by which they've been struck. Ty Thompson couldn't make that play. Just beyond his lunge or his reach, retrieved by Belisario. So Jones came on and again got a double play, 2 outs facing 1 batter. He's started his own inning, giving up 4 straight hits. Ryan Johnson was trying to show bunt, and then another out on the bases. My goodness, we have seen a handful already. After the bunt attempt, Guthrie came up throwing. Watch this back pick behind the runner, and it was in time to get Wilson. What a huge out. 2 outs on the bases for P27, but what a play by Guthrie, circling behind Ryan Johnson and getting the pickoff. Well, that's something else. Johnson, a Kentucky native. Freddie Freeman guy. He's going to play at Eastern Kentucky. Stands deep in that batter's box, to say the least. Carlisle, Kentucky. For Ryan Johnson. Part of the Phillies Scout American organization. There's a chopper on the ground to first, one that is at an infielder for the first time in a while. Martinez will take it, retires Ryan Johnson, ends a busy top of the second. 4 hits, a couple of runs, but it could have been much more had P27 not lost a couple of runners out there on the bases. Wild pitch, though, provided the tying run, a 2-2 game from East Scott. Our perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate, is an NAA, a National Academies Association Premier Bracket Championship between TNXL Academy Premier and P27. TNXL, a couple of runs in the bottom of the first, off to a really good start. They're in the driver's seat without a loss to this point, and P27 came back, and after maybe missing out on an opportunity in the first, got a couple of runs in the second, but my goodness, it could have been more. And Yamamoto finishing his warm-up tosses. He's going to look at Makai Brewer to begin things here in the bottom of the second inning. Brewer out of Hobbs, New Mexico, and Canes, America. He's a 2025. Son of Troy and Christian. Could have made a transition as well from outfield to first. He's DHing today, and he's going to get himself a base hit, maybe more. That ball's cut off by Johnson in the gap. Brewer will hold with a long single.
Job,
Young man who's moved from New Mexico to Florida to play Academy baseball, not wasting any time. He got a pitch to his liking and drilled it to the gap. A really nice job by Johnson, though, to keep that from going another 10 feet or so, which might have been a double rather than a single for Brewer. Kingsley Guthrie, the catcher, in. We saw his pickoff in the top of this inning. Anxious to see his bat. In the first game that TNXL played, Guthrie had a couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in. Murray State commit. Miami native. Goes by King. He's a 2024. And the future racer takes that one in from Yamamoto. Son of Keith and Elda. He just says about Academy baseball, it's helped him prepare for the next level. And I would imagine that's exactly what you want to see translate between moving on from a high school rank to playing in the academies. That's a wave and a miss. So Guthrie will K. Yamamoto comes back and gets the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. Big healthy wave and a miss. Brings up Jaden Gummersbach from Naples, Florida. He doesn't waste much time. Strokes one out to right. It'll drop and takes a big bounce. Played back in by Wagner. Brewer advances to second on the single from Gummersbach, and there's a couple of base runners aboard. So a lot of early swinging and counts. A lot of singles so far in our game. Jaden able to turn on that one. Drops one in front of Wagner. Wasn't sure if he was going to get that big kangaroo bounce, but he played it back in nicely. I think the throw hit the runner. Hit Brewer. Well, this is Ty Thompson. He's batting 10th. Both of these teams batting 10 today, using a DH and an extra hitter. And there's a bunt, but tap foul. Interesting with one out that maybe Thompson might be bunting, but for TNXL, they turn this lineup back over for Jorge Valdez, who's on deck. Yamamoto trying to work around some traffic. Little pause before the pitch, and that one's spoiled and fouled away by Thompson. One thing about these hitters, though, for TNXL, playing just 2 games compared to 5 for P27, they have not seen near the volume of pitches or pitchers and at-bats and whatnot. Your pitchers appreciate that. The hitters don't mind a few more ABs. Good pitch. That one just had a little bend away from the bat, and a wave and a miss by Thompson for the second out of the inning. Yamamoto's had a few of these. Watch this bend and watch this break. feel like it's on that corner, and then you're just not sure you can get back to baseball. And the strikeout is the second out. And this is Valdez, who bounced out to second an inning ago. Faded right on the corner for a called strike. Valdez, again in the first game that they played, went 3 for 3 with 3 runs. Big swing and a foul ball back. So they had a 12-5 win to TNXL with a couple of 4-run innings. Had a 3-2 win against Pro 5 in which they scored all of their runs in the first. And then they've been waiting for P27 come back around and find them in this bracket here in East Cobb. Can Yamamoto end the inning? That one's spoiled by Valdez as he stroked one to the left field side. 2-2 our score here in the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. National Elite High School Age Baseball League. I believe 7 teams in this bracket, Premier. Down to 2. Probably no surprise, the teams that were seeded first and second. Good pitch. Yamamoto wanted strike 3, a little bounce and a little jump down off the hill. Was hoping he had caught that inside corner, got strike 3 and stranded a couple of runners. Let's see it again. Maybe a little bit low. Valdez really spreads out wide. On the ground to the left side. A quick throw to second base in time. What an effort by Soto to Lawson. Base runner Gummersbach looked like he might just get there. That was a nifty play, though, to end the inning. Also a couple of strikeouts from Yamamoto. Worked around a pair of singles. Keeps this game tied at 2 through 2 from East Cobb. Welcome back to the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex. 2-2 our score. P27 and TNXL in our NAA Premier Bracket Championship. Want to encourage you to download the Perfect Game TV app. You can do so. Oko, Fire TV, Vizio, Fubo, many places to find it. You can watch live coverage of not only current games, past games, PG scouting reports, player features, many of our shows and whatnot. So do that while you have an opportunity to follow along. Jones is going to go to work in the top of the 3rd inning. We've had a lot of base runners. P27 had a couple of runners on in the first. There wasn't a pitcher's ejection of Bruno. Had some sticky stuff or a substance on his glove. Jones came on, got a ground ball double play. TNXL scored a couple of runs in the bottom of the first. Jones gave up a pair in the second. 4 straight singles in that frame, were it not for a runner trying to stretch a single into a double and being thrown out. And a runner picked off at first by the catcher on a back pick. Could have been more. And then TNXL stranded a couple of runners as well in their second. So here's P27 in the 3rd. Rafael Soto to lead off, and he takes strike 1. Soto the shortstop. Then back to the top of the lineup. Jones working, and that pitch hit in the air. Right center field, well struck, but the outfielders haven't had a lot of plays in the air until now. Gummersbach will handle that well-struck ball by Rafael Soto. Thought maybe he might get one into the gap. Maybe he thought that as well. Hit a little bit to the right of the batter's eye, but it was an easy path to get there and make the play.
Here we go, tree half one.
Colton Jones now will look at McFarland. Reached on an infield single in the first, then was out on a caught stealing in which he was there, only went too far, skidded across the base, just could not stop, and then was tagged out. So you don't get a stolen base on that, even though you were clearly safe. It's one continuous play, and he was out. Hartsville, South Carolina native. Academy Baseball's taught him to take training seriously. He's going to deposit one into center for a base hit. Big bounce, played back in nicely. And McFarland has his second hit in as many at-bats. He's been trying to stay on the top of the baseball, being able to hit with more power, more contact, and getting a feel for the game well. He's just put the ball in play a couple of times. Hit a pair of base hits. Putting that oven mitt on, see if he might be looking to run again. Lucas Alberti, couple of home runs and a 14-10 win for P27 a couple of games ago. Also scored 3 runs in that contest. He walked back in the first. Toronto native George Mason commit. Feels like just being in the U.S. has helped him significantly become a better player, a more disciplined person. Pitch is going to kick away from Guthrie. Should mean an advancement, and will. McFarland stayed on that bag. Nice pop-up slide, and I think that slide is exactly what you need to do. You can't provide the full momentum in the dive sometimes. You need that slide like you're trying to pop up and stay on the base. Maintain contact as best you can. Alberti, though, a Mookie Betts fan. He says he's a smaller guy like me, and I've learned height doesn't measure heart. Well said. Pitch not close, handled by Guthrie. I mentioned, though, he won a provincial championship in lacrosse in high school back home. A captain on a hockey team, so multiple sports indeed for Lucas, but he's found the path to baseball and takes a breaking ball for strike 2. Says he has a power speed combo. See if he might be able to pop a ball in the gap. Jones would just as soon get a strikeout, and a chopper foul instead. Bounced over near the dugout. We do ask these guys where they're going to be in 10 years, and Lucas was interesting for a Canadian. He said, have some kids and a big family, living on the beach in California, working as a baseball coach. Not a lot of beaches, maybe in Toronto. 2-2. Jones will spin and look McFarland back to the bag. He adds, unfortunately, he also loves the Toronto Maple Leafs. Painful fan existence. 2-2. That's not close. Jones has had a couple where he's just not been competitive, whether he's yanked him or missed up. And when he's been in the zone, he's had balls put in play and gotten some swings and misses. The 3-2 is perfectly placed at the knees, strike 3. He could not have walked that up there any better and placed it in the glove of Guthrie. Bottom of the zone at the kneecaps. Instead of a walk, that's the second out. And even if you're a hair low, sometimes when you split the plate like that, you'll get the benefit of the doubt. Here's Ethan Wagner. Wagner walked back in the first. Right before we had the ejection, our plate umpire, Lee Pearson, noticed something on the baseball and then decided to go out and take a look, and they ejected Greg Bruno. When you think you've seen it all on the youth baseball level, you realize Ethan Wagner says his mental approach to the game has been his biggest improvement, showing up every day, working hard. He's going to ground one to third. Should be the final out of the inning, and it is. A play made by Herb. He had to watch his first baseman Martinez, I believe, apply the tag, but it ended the inning. So a walk, but nothing comes across, and one runner left on. We've settled in a bit, going to the bottom of the third, tied at 2 in the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. And a few unique situations in our perfect game. Game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. A lot of base runners early, but we have calmed down as we head into the bottom of the third inning, tied at 2. P27 needs a win to force one more game. TNXL would love to clinch it here, and Yamamoto back to work. He has shown us some really unique pitches and ability to navigate this lineup, but now working second time through. Yamamoto will face the heart of the lineup. 2, 3, and 4. Belisario, Lines, and Martinez. Temperatures right around 70 degrees in East Cobb, so it is not warm or sticky at all. Maybe catching a little bit of a break, overcast skies, a few sweatshirts and whatnot in the stands. Give it a week or two and you'll be begging for relief from the heat, but weather has cooperated. Here is Belisario. He singled back in the first and scored. Doesn't waste any time here. Grounds one to third base. Alberti has it. His throw is high. And Belisario will reach, so instead of a quick out, a throwing error puts a runner aboard for TNXL.
Hey, good pitch. Throw another ground ball. That boy.
Not sure if that's just that second little slide step got him. Little
Here we go, E.
double clutch of sorts. Maybe he didn't have a great grip on the baseball. Jack lines in. He struck out looking in the first. Made a really nice defensive play in the top of the inning. Starting a double play. TNXL head coach Brian Martinez, located outside of the Orlando area. They were established back in 2014. It's interesting, their day, for the most part, consists of 4.5 hours of specialized training around their class schedule, maybe their practice schedule and whatnot, Monday through Thursday. So it's a lot of attention to getting better playing baseball in addition to finishing up their scholastic work. Breaking ball not close. Well, for Yamamoto, he's watched Lines try and square around and give up and out to move a runner. It hasn't been willing to take it just yet. So we'll see if Lines continues to square, or maybe he just works the count a little bit here. Looks like he might swing away, and he does. And he drives the ball to left field. Not hit quite well enough to get back towards the monster, and the catch is made by Johnson for the first out of the inning. A little shorter porch and left, but that high fence, so those left fielders can play deeper and kind of just go to their left or right, or maybe come in without having to worry about retreating much to navigate the fence. And this is Martinez. Derek Martinez had an RBI single to start the scoring for TNXL in the bottom of the first inning. He would come around to score in a double steal. throw went towards second. He came down the line of third and went across the plate with the second run. And the pitch to Martinez swung on and clubbed back and out of play. Martinez says his parents inspire him. They're the ones that show me he has to work. They're the ones that show him not to give up on his dreams and work to get better. Power to all parts of the field. A good arm, good defender. Play anywhere in the field. For a self-scouting report.
Hey, that's all right. Hey, no harm done. Let's go. Get the
I think we had another balk and did. Every once in a while, Yamamoto might just be in a hurry.
No problem. Get the batter. Let's go.
Doesn't come set, doesn't go through those proper mechanics. So you see Belisario will advance to second base. Not sure if he had a little wiggle to that front leg or whatnot, but the balk puts a runner in scoring position. And just as he was getting ready to kind of work his way set, Martinez called time and stepped down. Next one to Martinez is popped up. Playable. This is up there a long time. Who wants it? It's the second baseman, Lawson, who makes the catch to retire Martinez. Young man who played a lot of basketball, now playing baseball. And Martinez was trying to drive in another run, but Lawson handled that high pop-up for out number 2. So Yamamoto stranded a runner in the first, stranded 2 runners in the second inning. Trying to work around to lead off air and strand a runner in scoring position here. Tyler Herb, the batter. Another 2024. He had a single in the first to Tyler. On his way to Florida Gulf Coast. Goes by Herbo. Mount Dora, Florida native. Another guy who stands close to that plate, gets a breaking ball in the outside corner and waves through it. After baseball, Tyler might go military. He says it'd be cool to fly a jet plane someday. 2-strike pitch. Caught on a miss. Yamamoto works around the leadoff air. He has stranded 4 runners through 3 innings. Nicely done. Indeed, we have settled in. A 2-2 game. In our perfect game of the week, Yamamoto with the catch. Perfect game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. See a lot of hits, a lot of base runners as we go to the 4th inning, but a 2-2 game between P27 and TNXL Academy Premier. Yamamoto has done his job on the mound. Jones probably wasn't expecting to be in the game in the first inning, yet he's done a nice job as well. So P27 batting here in the fourth inning. Brendan Lawson hit a chopper towards lines at short, who turned that into a 6-3 double play to end the first. Lawson out of Toronto. Again, first pitch swinging. Bouncer to second, close at first. Thompson able to make the play to retire Lawson. Son of Tara and Trevor. This looks like a routine play right here off the bat, doesn't it? 3 or 4 bounces to second base, but all of a sudden he's lumbering up the line and trying to make that close. But retired. Cameron Turner reached on an infield single in the second and scored a run. Spoiled a pitch that was on that outside corner and fouled it away. Turner, the North Carolina native, the UNC Charlotte commit. Says he's passionate about his family. Only thing you have, and cherishes every moment with them. Big steak guy, though, when it comes to getting up to the dinner table. See what he can do here. Pretty good pitch. That one had a little sinker run from Jones, and it was foul tipped into the glove of the catcher Guthrie. And the count 1-2. P27 must win this game for TNXL. They have the benefit of the if game, nonetheless. This is the 6th contest for P27. Been quite a pack. That one's poked fair inside the first base bag, going into the corner. Belisario has 1 outfield assist. He's too deep there to have a chance to get Cameron Turner. Tell you what, our first basemen are playing further off the line than I would anticipate. We've seen a handful of balls just kind of poked or shot down that line inside the bag and past the dive, and extra bases for Cameron Turner. P27 trying to find a way to take their first lead of the game. They had an 8-0 win right out of the gates back on the 14th. A 7 out of Mace. Fouls one away. Then they lost a 10-2 contest on the 15th. They were down 6-0 into the bottom of the 4th. Had to jump into that losers bracket. Came back to win 8-3, 14-10. Then they defeated the team that defeated them, Pro 5, 9-3 to get to this point. So this is game number 6. Ball and a strike to Alamace, who has singled, also scored one of the 2 P27 runs. There's something wrong when a guy named 7 doesn't wear 7. We're in 68. Slightly open stance, behind in the count, 1-2. Jones a long pause before the pitch. And that breaking ball carried outside. Colton Jones has 1 on, 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning. And the pitch to Alamace is popped up. This one should drift and be at a play, and it will. Pursued by Martinez. And there's a little foul territory to work with there until you get further down the line when it tightens up a lot. But no chance. Base hit would probably put P27 in front.
Hey, good
Another
fight.
one fouled
Good fight,
back
kid. Good fight.
by Alamace, who's homered already in this event back in the first game. Need some more baseballs for our plate umpire, Lee Pearson. Looks like a strong kid in 7 Alamace. Shaping up to be a good battle here.
Way to fight.
Another one fouled away as he went down to a knee, taking that big swing. That's a really good pitch from Colton Jones. He just didn't get a verdict. So the battle continues. Down and out. Ball 3, and the count has gone full. And that's not close. Mace must have fouled off 4 or 5 pitches, and then the throw went to third as well when it rolled away, and heads up base running by Turner to take an extra 90 in advance.
Deep breath, baby. Let's go.
So P27 in a pretty good spot here. And it brings up Morales, an extra hitter who drove in a run with a single, but then was out trying to stretch that base hit into a double on a really nice throw from Belisario and right. Morales and Old Dominion come in. Dad has the same first name, Ephraim. And pitch right at the belt for a called strike.
It's okay. It's not you. It's not you.
In their third game, an 8-3 win. Morales had 3 hits, couple of runs batted in. Trying to get a second hit in this game. Nice stop by Guthrie to smother that baseball, especially with a runner at third.
Go ahead, I think middle. Let's go. Line drive.
What Morales said has improved the most this year has been hitting the inside pitch. Will Jones, for the most part, I think, has been trying to work away from some of these righties, in part because they stand right on top of the plate. Ball came flying in from the other field. Saw our plate umpire wonder why Jones didn't pitch. Well, there was a heads up, and just as he was getting ready to make a key pitch with runners on the corners, ball came flying in and landed behind him.
Vamos, Efra.
A lot of these kids have played multiple sports. For Morales, he said he's played baseball and baseball only since birth. Would Jones try and come in here? Well, he did, but missed up and in. 2-1. Morales says his dad has inspired him every day because he's shaped him into the man he is today. And he's there for everything he needs. There's a chopper towards short. The play at first, in time for a double play. I thought Morales might beat it with that big chopper to the shortstop lines. If he beats it, it's worth a run. This is the second DP that Lines has turned in today. Took that quick bounce, nice throw to second base. Thompson's relay in time for the DP to keep us tied at 2. Welcome back to the Perfect Game of the Week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. Perfect Game TV. You can find us on the Roku channel, stream free, channel 237. So Roku jumping into Major League Baseball as well on Sundays. Going to be a destination to find the game you love. And PGTV right there on channel 237 for all our content, our events. Showcase is starting soon. The All-Star Game's coming up as well. throughout the summer. It's always busy, but summer takes on a different tier of busyness. Joseph Yamamoto has really looked good at times. This is a 2-2 game as he works into the bottom of the fourth inning against TNXL. Leadoff error last inning did not bother Yamamoto. He left that runner stranded in scoring position, did not score. Looked like his team might just find a way to push across a third run to take a lead in the top of this inning. But two really fine defensive DPs, started by the shortstop Lines, has kept P27 from adding to the 2 runs they've scored. Brian Martinez with a conversation as well, head coach from TNXL Academy Premier. His team is going to send up Chabot, Brewer, and Guthrie in the bottom of the fourth inning. Keenan went down on strikes back in the first. Fort Pierce, Florida native, another one of the 2024s. First one misses. Big Ronald Acuna fan is Keenan. Broke his wrist before a big Jupiter tournament and had to kind of keep the faith that everything would work out, he'd be okay. He's passionate about photography and videography. Might be a future career path as well after baseball. 2 balls and a strike to one of the extra hitters for TNXL. Yamamoto, I think at times alternates between working quickly and then slowing down. Obviously, base runners will slow him down a bit, but a pretty quick tempo there before he skipped a pitch away, which allows for a natural reset. Doesn't want to put a runner on, however. And on a 3-1 pitch, it's hit into center for a base hit. So Chabot with the single. Thought out of the hands that was looking like ball 4. It had some bend to it, and Keenan was able just to slap it into center for the base hit. His first hit in 2 at-bats. Watch this one again, just to hit that right back up the middle from where it came to the right of the mound. And retrieved by McFarland and played back in. TNXL played some small ball for their runs in the first inning. See if they might have designs on doing that, although that was a big swing from Makai Brewer. Brewer's our New Mexico native. He had a longer path to get to Academy baseball than others, going from one region of the country to another. Singled back in the second. Fast hands and good power, part of the self-scouting report for Makai Brewer. May have to hit in the terms of Yamamoto here. That was up around his shoulder. Just about wore that one. Grandma's the person that inspires Makai. She always told him he could do whatever he wanted, and sadly, she's no longer with us. Here's the pitch that is cut on and foul tipped into the glove of Alamace. So Yamamoto able to get the strikeout. I've got him down for 6 through 3 1/3 innings. Young man from Hiroshima, Japan. Now will contend with Kingsley Guthrie. Had a 2-homer game already in this event. Did strike out back in the second. Pause before the pitch. Bunting a high one. The bunting foul, third base side, as Alberti comes on to retrieve. Bunting on the carpet always takes on a different dimension. That first bounce, so important. Is it a hard one that's going to propel it up? Is it going to skip it away? Or do you kind of deaden that ball where that carpet absorbs the bunt and provides a really tough charging play for an infielder? Interesting, though, a one-out bunt attempt rather than Brewer went down on strikes. Just we're telling you about the home runs, though, from Guthrie, and he tried to bunt. Now the count 1-1. Sure he'll be swinging away if he finds one to his liking. He was. The hit and run was on. Was the tag made? Yes, it was. How about the defensive plays from our shortstops today? Soto with the leap and the tag, and he gets the out. Lyons has made a couple of really important double plays, but this one looked like an easy stolen base, or maybe a ball that goes into center field. But watch this leaping tag attempt to tag the runner in midair on his path to the base. Boy, that's really impressive. That one's outside. Alamais gets the assist as well. So that leadoff single no longer a problem. 2 outs, base is empty. And a swing and a miss. So Yamamoto cruises through the 4th inning, faces just 3 batters, even though he gave up a leadoff single. Through 4, tied at 2 in our perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. On we go to the 5th, 2 runs, 7 hits. For P27, 2 runs on 6 hits. For TNXL, the pitching and the defense has started to pick up. Each team's had a 2-run inning. And that's it for P27. Their 2-run frame came in the 2nd. TNXL had a couple of runs in the 1st. Colton Jones came on after that ejection in the 1st to get 2 outs. He's been in there ever since. Carson Willis from Rogers, Arkansas, is going to lead things off and takes one high for a ball. Carson says the academy's been the best decision he's made, from being able to create a lifelong brotherhood with his teammates, just to grinding every day with the resources at his fingertips. And the academy's also taught him to persevere through adversity and pushed him to be the player and the man he is today. Look forward to seeing him in a Razorback uniform in the near future. 2-0 the count. Got a pitch to hit and hammers one fair. This one's headed down into the corner. Retrieved by Valdez. Should be 2 bases, and Willis will pick up the leadoff hit in the 5th inning.
Let's go right. Let's go right.
This ball was over the leap of Herb, and then once it got down into the corner, kind of rattled around for a while. Played back in by the left-handed left fielder, but not before a double for Carson Willis, who is 2 for 2 in the game. One thing about that 3:15 marker, you see it there. It's a little shorter throw for the left fielder, but still have to turn and pivot. No, a conversation on the mound. Remember what I pointed out at the very beginning for TNXL. They've only played 2 games compared to 5 for P27, so they should have more arms and fresh arms. We're going to have a pitching change break. We're going to step aside and come back, tell you about the new left-hander in a moment in a game tied at 2. Perfect Game, Game of the Week on perfectgame.tv. Pitching change for TNXL here in the 5th inning. Lanky lefty Lonzo Drummond comes on to work after a leadoff double from Carson Willis. Put a go-ahead run in scoring position, so Drummond becomes the 3rd pitcher used by TNXL. Miami kid, he's a 2025. Bruno went 3 batters and got just 1 out. And then Colton Jones has been in there since after giving up the double to Willis. Drummond comes on, so he's going to work against the bottom 2 hitters in the lineup, and then maybe McFarland at the top as P27 here in the top of the 5th inning. Tries to take a lead in this game. They've never led, but did tie it up quickly in that second, and that's where we played since. Each team has had base runners. There has not been a 1-2-3 inning, at least without a base runner, as evidenced by the hits, but pitchers, I guess, when they've really had to make some pitches and get some outs, they've been able to do so. And there have been some fine defensive plays by our shortstops in this game. This is Ryan Johnson. Johnson rolled out to first his only time in, and he takes strike 1. So a lefty-lefty matchup here. Johnson out of Carlisle, Kentucky. Down 0-2, and that one fades away. Johnson says he's gotten better at hitting against high velo and good off-speed pitches with his last year or so and his evolution, his game. Good take there, and a pitch that wasn't going to be in the zone. I'm sure Johnson, if nothing else, would like to find a way to advance Willis. Breaking ball for strike 3. That was filthy. Johnson was bending a bit out of the way as that ball started towards him. It ended up in the glove of Guthrie for strike 3. Watch it again. Oh, boy. Front door breaking ball. As a hitter, you never feel like that's strike 3, and as a pitcher, you love to kind of move those feet. This is Soto, the shortstop, who made a really nice tag on a caught-stealing attempt last inning. Soto flew out to center in his only at-bat, so it takes a while sometimes to get through that lineup. Batting 10 for a second time, but here we are in the 5th. And after the strikeout to Johnson, now Soto is ahead in the count, 2-0. Drummond works fast. Here's the pitch. That's a chopper towards short. Can Lines make another play? Oh, my goodness. Lines has been something else. He's handled those bounces so effortlessly, almost as if he gets to the ball in the perfect place to field and throw, which is the object. But this does not look like an easy play here on this second bounce. Watch him reach, glove, throw, and got the out call at first. 2 outs. Upon further review, it looked like maybe Soto was across the bag, but Lines just keeps getting outs. And here is McFarland. That is a little bit down for ball 1. McFarland has 2 singles, one of the infield variety. He has not scored a run, however. Another one that's way outside and not close.
Let's go, Trey. Stay hot, kid.
McFarland also a football and basketball player back in the day.
3-0, kid. 3-0.
Maybe in a take situation here. 3-0 with a runner at third base. Now,
Be smart, Trey.
on that ground out, Willis did advance to third, but he'd be in position on an infield hit, maybe a wild pitch to score a go-ahead run.
Now you like it, get it.
After a leadoff double, you get pretty optimistic about finding a way to get that run in. Hasn't happened yet. McFarland goes by Tree. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swings through it, and now the count has gone full.
Battle now. Get in the fight here, Tree.
Certainly plus speed, quick hands for McFarland, who's going to reach here with the 2-out walk. So now let's see if he might be in motion and try and get into scoring position, possibly force a throw or whatnot.
Let's go, Birdie.
And Lucas Alberti will bat.
Let's go, Birdie. Stay hot, kid. Stay hot.
Walking a strikeout. He's had a 2-homer game already. Going left on right here. Guthrie doing a lot of communicating to the dugout on what they want to do with Alberti, and he's going to go through a series of signs, and that was just what we pointed out, whether or not McFarland might run and whether you risk throwing through or focus all of your attention on Alberti. The 2-homer game came 2 games ago in a 14-10 victory. McFarland had a big contest, so did Wagner, but none better than 2 homers from Lucas, who was walked and struck out in this game. Game the P27 must win to force one more. And TNXL could end it right here with a victory in our premier bracket. Good pitch. For a wave and a miss. You saw that one for a long time from the lefty into the righty, but Alberti could not resist. 2-1. Hack came flying off on the pitch, and that was fouled away, so the count has gone from 2-0 to 2-2. Plate umpire having a conversation with the dugout. I'm not sure if there was something about the swing of Alberti carrying him out of the box just a bit or not. Plate umpire Lee Pearson keeps pointing to the box, saying he was in there. At the major league level, we're seeing a lot of catchers try and reach and extend to frame pitches and sometimes kind of get in the way of those swings, and sometimes to their injury detriment. You can see how deep Alberti is in the box. 2-2. Can Drummond get out of the inning? Not on that pitch. The count has gone full. We have not seen McFarland running in this sequence.
Have fun. Just baseball. Let's go.
We will now, however. 2 outs and a 3-2 count. There he goes. Here's the pitch. Hooked, fouled outside of third base. We'll do it again. Willis started this inning with a double before a pitching change, and he's moved up to third, but he has been out there on the bases for a long time. There's a step out. For me, I'm not allowing that as an umpire. We've had too much of that. I mean, you get your one, but you don't get it when the pitcher's ready to roll. Here we go. 3-2 the count. McFarland ready to take off. Payoff pitch. That's a good-looking pitch, but it was a little bit too far in, and now the bases are loaded. Alberti works the walk. Drummond was hoping he had strike 3. Let's see it again. Boy, this had some sweep and movement to it, didn't it? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that didn't come through the zone where it finished. Looked like it was in. Here is Ethan Wagner. 2 homers in his last game. 0 for 1 today, and that's down and low, fouled by Guthrie. Wagner walked in the first. He grounded out to third in the third. Chicago kid is Wagner. A 2024. Pitch a little bit low, and now Drummond in danger of seeing P27 take the lead. A couple of walks have loaded up the bases with 2 outs. Drummond needs a strike, and he doesn't get one. And P27 has taken its first lead. It's a 3-2 game. Not sure if we're calling that a hit by pitch or ball 4. Regardless, P27 has had 3 straight walks with 2 outs. And that dugout's got some life. So the 2 and 3 hitters, certainly some dangerous ones in this lineup, but Drummond just could not find the zone. Now Birdie gave him a battle, and after that walk, then Wagner took a more comfortable free RBI. Cleanup hitter Lawson has hit the ball on the ground twice. He's bounced into a 6-3 double play, rolled out to second base when he led off the 4th inning. Another Canadian. Pitches down. Remember, the bases are still loaded, so anything that might squirt by Guthrie could provide a free run. And now P27 has finally taken their lead. They look to get some separation. It's a high breaking ball called a strike. Top of the zone at the belt. Can Lawson keep this inning going? And again, pitchers have had a hard time with the balks and whatnot. Probably more than you will see in most normal games as far as the calls from our umpiring crew. Maybe we'll see this one again as McFarland comes across and adds another run. It's a 4-2 game.
Good call, Blue. Nothing changes. Let's go.
He just stepped off, I think.
Good call, Blue.
I think he's got to step off before he takes that ball out of his glove. He stepped off, then took the ball out. All right, you've got to step off first. He did not, I don't believe. There's a ground ball to second. Flagged nicely, but is the throw going to keep Martinez on the bag? It did. Thompson made the play to retire Lawson. But a bases loaded walk and a balk has provided P27 with a couple of runs, and they have a 4-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning in a perfect game of the week. Oh, you had a team jump out in front, take a lead. P27 scored a couple of runs. There was a balk to force in a run, a bases loaded walk, and that's how P27 has a 4-2 lead. Yamamoto was sitting for a long time in that frame and waiting. He's just gotten better and better. Over the last 3 innings, he's given up 2 singles, but no runs. And even though there has been a runner left on each of the last couple of innings before a caught stealing negated an opportunity for that in the 4th, it just seems like he's gotten a little bit better and better. Up to 7 strikeouts, has not allowed a runner to reach third base since the 1st inning when TNXL got a couple of runs for an early 2-0 lead. That has evaporated, though. P27 has scored the last 4. So TNXL has some work to do. Bottom of the lineup, Jaden Gummersbach will lead off, followed by Thompson and then Valdez, barring any changes. Yamamoto's first pitch. And that's the one that's had a little bit of movement, whether that's been more of the tight slider. Jaden did single back in the 2nd, then was erased. Lifts one to center. Up there a long time, and it's going to provide a path for McFarland to drift in and make the catch. For the first out in the bottom of the 5th. So TNXL, the home team, and again, they have not lost, but Yamamoto is getting to that point where you're wondering, might he just finish this? We've seen a lot of guys go 6-ish innings or whatnot in these games, and sometimes it's out of necessity. Other times, these pitchers are stretched out deep into their season. Sometimes in our youth games of the week, it's part of bigger events where you might see 3 pitchers all going a couple of innings, but not the case here. You're playing to win. This is Valdez. Valdez is 0 for 2. Both times he's hit the ball on the ground. Yamamoto keeps spinning and bending those pitches in there, but he's behind now, 3-1. With 1 out in the bottom of the 5th. Good pitch. He's just got a little bit of twist as well with his body. Born in Japan, you've seen some pitchers from Japan at the major league level. They have a little bounce, a little turn, a little twist to give those hitters something different to look at, but that one is looked at for ball 4. So Valdez will walk.
Right there. Good job. Throw a ground ball here now.
Speaking of Japanese players, though, he's wearing 51, Ichiro's number. That's Valdez. Belisario, next man in. He singled and scored way back in the 1st. Reached on an E5, a throwing error last time in. And that pitch, a little bit up and in. I thought maybe that was going to be at the belt over the inside corner, but not the case. To Belisario. Another Staten Island product. There's a handful in this roster. Alamais tried to block it, and he does, to keep Valdez from advancing.
Hey, come back here now.
Belisario batting 2-hole. One thing about this ballpark, though, it is tough on a ball to the gap to score a runner from first. Unless maybe they're off and running or there's a bobble of some sort. Pitch in there for a strike. Down the right field line and into right center a little bit easier. Left center is a shorter porch. Down the left field line, only 315. What we haven't had today, though, is a long ball. That pitch is in there for a strike, and these teams have both hit their share this week. These dimensions as a whole probably a little bit friendly for powerful 2024s. 17, 18-year-olds that have some thump. Not getting much help today, though, by the wind. It has that Atlanta feel other than the fact it's not terribly warm, but not a lot of breeze down in this complex. A 2-2 pitch. That one is lined to the left of base hit. So Belisario singles after Valdez walked, and here comes TNXL. Causing some problems against Yamamoto. A bit of a hanger. Yamamoto, for all the break he's had on some of his pitches, that one just didn't have enough. Left over the plate, and good hitters will usually put that ball in play. Belisario also gets a base hit. And here's Jack Lyons, who's been really good defensively. He's flied to left and struck out in the game. Couple of base runners aboard, and there's a bouncer to second. Can they get two? There's one. On to first. No, the throw's high. Lyons kind of stumble around first. He has to dive back in. A run will score. Is Lyons okay? Valdez able to score on the throwing error. Lyons beat out the double play. Belisario erased. This was not going to be an easy turn. I mean, it was a really nice effort, but the throw sailed beyond Turner, and once it hit the bricks, Valdez never stopped running.
Hey, here we go. Way to throw a ground ball.
I thought Lyons might have rolled an ankle or something, but he was able to get back to the bag. It's now a 4-3 game. So our last three runs combined have been on a balk and a walk and then a throwing error on a double play that wasn't turned. And here's Martinez. Singled in a run back in the first. Takes one high for a ball from Yamamoto. Pitch count, though, for Yamamoto, even if he gets through this inning, is probably one where it's up there because of the volume of base runners he had to deal with in the first couple of innings, despite how good he has been in the last few. Martinez fouls one back and out of play. He did face only 3 batters in the fourth and 4 batters in the third, but sometimes you're still going into a couple of deep counts in that process, even when you're efficient or effective. Pitch carried off the corner. Alamais did not want it there, wanted it a little bit low, maybe in. But it's 2-1 to the cleanup hitter, Martinez. That one further off the corner and missed. 3-1. Martinez in the summers has played for Canes American. He's a 20-25, so he's got another year. That's a big frame, though, for a young hitter. 3-1. Rolled foul outside of third base. Martinez says coming back from injury was the greatest challenge he had to overcome. It was difficult to get his rhythm in the game back. And you're talking about game speed and game timing. And when he came back, he struggled to hit everything and kind of hard to get comfortable for a while. Just had to put in even more work at the academy, feel better, find that rhythm, find the feeling of playing baseball again. Makes perfect sense. The 3-2. Pretty good pitch, but spoiled by Martinez. Couple of runs in the top of the inning by P27. One in the bottom of the frame by TNXL. There's not been a great deal of separation in this game. Really good battle, though, here. Martinez, third time through against this good pitcher, Yamamoto. Who's going to win it? And a payoff pitch. Outside ball 4. Yamamoto reacting. I'm not sure if he thought that was a strike or he just didn't carry for how much that ball carried off that outside corner. Looked like a ball, though, because it did carry off that corner. It was in the other batter's box, so he was frustrated, but maybe more on the lack of being able to keep that pitch in the zone.
Yeah, wait and talk, Sam. Here we go. Come on, D.
Stay hot. Let's go.
Need a play here, Brandon.
Third baseman Tyler Herb will step in.
Here we go, E.
He is singled and struck out. Lanky lefty. Takes one up and out.
Hey, you're all right, Joe. Fill it up, kid.
Florida native. Neither one of those pitches have been as competitive as maybe Yamamoto would like. Tyler also part of Canes, Florida. Florida Gulf Coast University commit. Well, Yamamoto keeps missing further up and out.
Come on, Joe, you're right, bud.
Walk here would load him back up.
Here you go, one at a time here, kid.
Tyler really does stand over that inside corner of the plate.
Hey, boy.
But I like that location, especially to an upright, tall hitter.
Do it again.
If you're going to come in, do it around the knees. That looked like more of a 1-1 strike than a 3-0 strike when you groove it in there. But I did like the location. Lines at second, Martinez at first. That was not competitive again. And the bases are loaded. So we'll see if P27 is going to stay with Yamamoto, at least try and get him through this inning. There is going to be a mound visit from Alamace.
Know where you want to go. Know where you want to go.
So TNXL is close to within a run. Base hit here, though, would put them back in front. Just curious, though, on whether we might see a mound visit out of the dugout or a pitching change. And here comes a long, slow walk out to talk to Joseph Yamamoto. And that conversation just beginning. At the collegiate level, the pitching coaches almost have to run because you're on a timer that would long since be over. But here you can take that long, slow walk to maybe provide some opportunity for the pitchers to further warm up, although there was a conversation there, and I think there was a check of the watch as if to say, and I don't know if they're talking weather or whatever the case may be, or why isn't your guy hurrying a little more? But this is a key situation, not just for Joseph Yamamoto, but for P27. Bases loaded and a wave and a miss from Keenan Chabeth, who singled back in the fourth inning. Then was out trying to steal. An FIU commit. Nice breaking ball. That's really tough for those right-handed hitters to navigate through that one. You're not sure if that pitch might kind of back up a bit and run into you, or hang over the inside corner, and then you watch that break and get the wave of a miss. 0-2. And Yamamoto on a two-strike pitch gives up a single into center. One run will score. Here's the second, and TNXL back in front. A two-out, two-strike single. Chabeth saw a couple of pitches in the zone, then the throw to third. And the runners tried to move up and advance, and it's going to result in an out. So Lines and Martinez scored. But getting a little bit greedy on the bases, Herb tried to advance. We didn't quite pick it up, but here's the single that played it two. So Lines comes across, Martinez comes across. Herb right here, you see him hesitate. He got in that rundown, then took off, and finally was called out. He might have been called out for leaving the baseline. I'm not sure. Regardless, TNXL back in front, 5-4 through 5 innings. Perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. I would say after things calmed down just a bit, we had an eventful fifth inning. P27 scored a couple of runs. They broke the tie, took a 2-run lead. Then TNXL got 3 runs in the bottom of the frame, 2 coming on a 2-out, 2-strike single. Then there was, looks like a disputed play at third when the runner, Herb, tried to advance, but the out was called and recorded. So it sends us to the 6th, and P27, after finally getting a lead, now find themselves down a run. And Drummond back to work. Drummond came on last inning, pitching here to Cameron Turner, skied in the air, deep center field, back towards the wall. It's off the top of the fence, but it's going to stay in play. Turner's not just going to have 2, he's going to go to third. There was a bobble in center field. And stopping at third base is Turner. Just missed a home run, gets 3 bases, and I thought after that bobble he might just try and score. Turner's had a single, double, and triple in succession. This one looked like it rolled along the top of the fence and came back in, so maybe missing one by an inch or so. Watch this ball here up on the top of the fence. It kind of hugged the fence for a while, and it landed back away from Gummersbach, who then had that brief bobble. But a leadoff triple against Drummond. Drummond walked 3 last inning, had a balk that forced in a run, but then he got the bounce out to end the inning. And the first pitch strike to 7 Alames hits the outside corner. 7 has singled, scored, walked so far. So P27 really would love to get Turner in quickly here to at least tie up the game, and then who knows beyond that. Wake Forest commit is Alames. Hits one hard, but foul outside of third. He was using a little body language to try and coax that one closer to the line, to no avail. Drummond, the third pitcher used by TNXL. And again, this is just their 3rd game, worth repeating if you're tuning in. Game number 6 for P27. It's been a different story for their pitching, depending on how many more arms they might have. Will this get the run in? It should, but nope, it's going to bend foul. I thought that was going to be caught out and right. Just continue to slice away and end up over the brick side fence. If you're Drummond, you would really love a strikeout. Leave that runner at third, at least for now, with 1 out. And he gets it. A wave and a miss. He lost his hat, but he got the swing and a miss in the K. A big first out in the top of the 6th.
Come on, F.
Watch this one again. This one had some sweep to it, but he kept it on that outside corner. Kept it away from the heart of the plate.
Aggressive, F. Do your job.
Drummond struck out the first batter he faced. That's his second. Now he wouldn't mind another. This is Morales. A little bit outside. Morales hit into a double play to win the 4th, and had he beaten out the play at first, and it was really close, it would have provided a run with Turner scoring. Well, now Turner's at third again, but with 1 out. Guthrie, the catcher, was communicating with the dugout. I didn't know for a second if maybe he had an equipment issue or not, but he's ready to go. Just conversation with the dugout. Coach Martinez. Pitch to Morales. It kicks away. It's going to provide the tying run. A wild pitch to score Turner, and it is a 5-5 game. So after the strikeout, then the last thing Drummond wanted to do was wild pitch in the tying run. But the leadoff triple, too good not to score for P27. And that pitch over the inside corner, well placed for a strike. Both of these teams got a couple of early runs. Then we settled in. Then we had a busy inning. Offense is coming back in full force now. Base it into center by Morales. And a one-out single after the run to tie the game. So a busy fifth, and maybe we're kick-starting a busy sixth here in the top with P27. You see the swing again. Just muscled that out in the center. Carson Willis will bat. Willis had a double back in the fifth. He's had 2 hits, single and a double. For the Rogers, Arkansas native, big swing and a foul ball. Had 1 3-hit game already. That from Turner. Willis trying to do the same thing. You got a couple of guys in your team, both 3 for 3. You'd like to feel like you're in front, but P27's had to come back just to tie. Willis has felt like he's improved his catching. He's DHing, though, today. Going to take a big, healthy swing and a miss. So Drummond has had a couple of Ks this inning. Both times he's kept some pretty nice pitches away from those right-handed hitters. You'll see it again, kind of working that outside corner. Willis maybe trying to pull, came up empty. 2 gone. This is Ryan Johnson. Is that a swing? It was actually foul tipped. He was trying to check, but the ball grazed the bat into the glove of Guthrie for strike 1. Let's see it again. Umpire probably going on sound. Quickly 0-2. Johnson was the first batter that Drummond faced last inning after a leadoff double, and he struck him out. Well, he's gone 0-2 here. What will he do? Will he waste a pitch? Well, he did more than that. Yanked one, threw it to the backstop. Free base for Morales, who moves in a scoring position on the wild pitch. Seems somewhat inconsequential, but a base hit here would not give you that same feeling. That would be worth a run. Wave it a miss. Boy, Drummond really tough on the lefties. Johnson will K. The inning ends. A leadoff triple cashed in for a run. Tied again, even at 5 as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning in the perfect game. Game of the week brought to you by Lunch Hydrate. Five game in our NAA Premier Bracket Championship, the National Academies Association, part of our perfect game of the week. You see the hit column, there's been a lot of base runners. But a 5-5 game as we head into the bottom of the inning, and Yamamoto's going back to work. I was curious. He got the 2-run single, but also an out on the bases to end last inning on kind of a disputed play. 94 pitches, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, worked around the 8 hits. You certainly see the promise when he's on. The movement of his pitch is pretty special. He's had a couple of sequences, and it's not uncommon against good hitters where maybe you lose it for a 7-8 pitch stretch. But 94 pitches, back to work in the 6th, and Brewer's going to lead things off the DH. Each of these teams batting 10, so getting towards the bottom of the lineup. in the bottom of the 6th. And Brewers both singled and struck out. Here we go with one outside for a ball. So tied at 5, bottom of the 6th. Fouled back and out of play.
5-6.
Got to believe it's a batter or two at most for Yamamoto before he's done. Brewer takes one at the bottom of the zone for a called strike.
Battle 6.
Brewer out of Canes, America. Going to swing at a pitch on that outside corner and lift it in the air. Left center field. It's going to hang up, however. And the play is made by McFarland. That ball had some carry. Thought maybe it might find a gap. It did not. McFarland outran it for the first out. Pitch count probably right about 100 for Yamamoto, but looks like he's going to stay in to face Kingsley Guthrie, who was struck out twice. Ready matchup, and Guthrie hammers one, but foul down the line and left. Well, that ball was in play. That hit the fence. And that's going to be a long single. So Guthrie drilled one down the line and left. He kind of stood in the box for a second, which gave me pause. He just didn't move. Watch, he thinks it's foul. Then he takes off running. Maybe he thought it was a homer. I don't know. But watch it hit the fence. Not near close to the top of the wall, but Johnson played it back in. And because Guthrie wasn't sprinting out of the box, he's only going to get a single. Pinch runner at first for the catcher. So Yamamoto gives up the long single. Shaden Gummersbach will hit here. Justin Skorupski running at first. Bunting a high pitch. Yamamoto's going to spear it, slings it back to first, and he's going to get the double play. A popped up bunt. Yamamoto didn't give it all to Alberti. Not only did he catch it, was able to sling it back to first. The pinch runner ventured too far. He thought this bunt was going to get down. And more defensive, sparkling plays in our game. TNXL does not score. On we go to the top of the 7th, tied at 5. A lot of hits, even totals, 5-5 as we head into the top of the 7th inning for the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. We've got more baseball coming up on Sunday. The Beast of the East Got a couple of games Sunday at 3:45, 5:15 Eastern Time. Believe that event out in Florida, so more baseball coming your way on perfectgame.tv this weekend. We're trying to find a verdict here, and yet we're going to go into the 7th inning. This is a must-win game for P27. Looks like Soto's going to lead things off against Drummond again, who's back out there. TNXL has not lost. They played just 2 games, but they have not been able to get any separation. P27 had a brief lead. They were down a run and tied it up last inning. Soto bats 10th, then the top of the lineup to follow in the top of the 7th inning. Here from the famous East Cobb Baseball Complex in Marietta, Georgia. First pitch down in the carpet. You want to say dirt, but it is not. There's no dirt even on the mound of the plate areas. Soto is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and flied out. Boy, the double plays we've had, the near DPs, whether it was the popped up bunt last inning, a couple of really nice efforts by Lines at short earlier, they have been impactful in this game. Just see the speed and the athleticism as you get to this 2024-2025 class and some of the huge plays. I mean, it at times certainly resembles a collegiate game, and that's where these players will soon be off to. The college ranks, the next level. 2-1 to Soto. P27 would like a base runner. Ground ball to short here. Lines has been so good throwing on the run. My goodness, he's been fun to watch at short. It's a true art form when a fielder can approach a ground ball and do so in a manner in which he takes the right hop and he's in a quick position for the exchange. Watch this, a little bit of a timing effort, took the short up, throws on the run. That's well done. That's an advanced defensive approach. Playing on the carpet gives you a little bit of solace. You know that you're going to get a truer bounce. You can charge, you can wait for that hop, kind of time it up, but it still doesn't mean it's easy. Most people don't look quite that fluid or smooth. Back to the top of the lineup for McFarland, who's been on base all 3 times. You see the 2 singles and a walk. And a good pitch from Drummond to start this sequence. McFarland has scored a run. He was out trying to steal once and was stranded on the bases once. He loved to reach with 1 gone here in the 7th. Otherwise, should P27 not score, obviously it gives TNXL a chance in the bottom to walk it off and win the whole thing with a run. Another ground ball. This is on the carpet to third. Close, but in time. Herb made the play to get the speedy McFarland. So a ground to short and a ground ball to third. Both handled nicely. And Drummond has a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning. Well, that was close again at first. No debate, no argument, I guess. So it brings up Alberti, who's walked twice. He's seen a lot of pitches. Fouled off a lot in his last at bat. Takes a low strike 1 from Drummond. When he took the walk in the 5th, then a bases loaded walk followed in a balk. So had he been retired, those 2 runs would have not scored. And P27 needs them all. And then they got a run on a wild pitch. So their last 3 runs have been scored. In fact, their last 4 runs have been scored on something other than a hit. Wild pitch, a balk, a bases loaded walk, another wild pitch. They're not going to turn them back or give them up, though. They're fighting to play another game. They're fighting to play their 7th and come all the way back out of the loser's bracket. 2-strike pitch. Spoiled foul down the line in right. TNXL had the first and only bye, so they didn't have to play that first game. Then they got a win and another win to shoot them all the way into this championship series, if you will, or the portion of the bracket. P27, though, after they lost their second game 10-2, had to play 3 more to come back. They avenged their loss, but again, this is game 6. 8-0 win, a 10-2 loss, an 8-3 win, a 14-10 victory, and a 9-3 W over Pro 5, the team that beat them earlier. Here's the 1-2. Up and out. Base is empty, 2 gone. Alberti just trying to find a way to reach against this lefty. Pitch is high again, so Drummond had Alberti where he wanted him. And I mentioned earlier that Lucas has seen a lot of pitches despite going 0 for 1 3 times up. Now his 4th plate appearance. And a payoff. That's not close. Alberti was down, and then he works the 2-out walk. It's going to bring up a dangerous hitter in Ethan Wagner. He walked with the bases loaded to get an RBI in the 5th. I'm sure Coach Martinez kind of thinking along the lines with me. At times, Drummond has been really good. Certainly to lefties. And then he's gone through a 3 or a 4 pitch sequence where he's just not been around the zone. So you start to wonder, is he going to bounce back to be the pitcher I saw 2 batters ago, or did what I see in that last sequence to Alberti, will that be what I'm going to get going forward? It's that yin and yang, and I think now we're going to have a mound visit as well, and maybe this will allow some activity to begin in the bullpen. And I think more than that, that's a handshake, so that might be a pitching change, although I didn't see an indication just yet. Drummond's throwing out some comments as well. We're going to have a double mound visit. One coach comes on, another, and that's will do it. So I did think that handshake was an indication that Drummond was done. Pitching change break. Back with a new pitcher after this in a 5-5 game in the 7th. The new pitcher will be the 4th for TNXL, Mikhail Cisneros. Remember, Bruno, the starter, went a third of an inning, faced 3 batters. He was ejected from the game for a substance on his glove. But here comes Cisneros on with 2 outs, a runner on base in the top of the 7th, and a tie game. Trying to get that final out, keep the game tied, give his team a chance to win in the bottom, walk it off and win it all. But Drummond just really tough on left-handers. Alberti worked that walk against him, so here comes Cisneros. Another Canadian, another 2024 product, UCF commit. Facing a dangerous hitter in Ethan Wagner. Had a 2-homer game earlier in this event, takes a tough strike. And Cisneros jumps ahead, 0-1. 5-5, top of the 7th. In the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. Lifted to right. Is this ball going to drop? It did. And it takes a bounce into foul territory. And the tag is going to be implied. And we had a collision as well. Our umpires get between the catcher Guthrie. And now a conversation as well. How that ball dropped, I don't know. Belisario must have been deep, and in the gap, he and Thompson pursued. The ball did drop from Wagner and then took a right turn. Alberti was trying to score all the way from first with 2 outs. He's kind of jogging there. He's not running at full speed. You see, once this ball bounced and then went further away from Thompson, the throw came all the way in. Alberti with a thump of Guthrie. He was going to be out one way or another. I think he said after that collision, my bad, just kind of too much movement in one force, but the tag was applied and keeps this game tied at 5 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. That was an eventful play to end the top of the 7th. A bloop double. Alberti for a split second. We thought he might have a chance to score from first. Not only did he not score, there was the mini collision. A lot of excitement in the dugout. And now Yamamoto's going back out there in the bottom of the 7th where 1 run will win it for TNXL. So instead of P27 regaining a lead, they don't. Keeps this game tied. Yamamoto over 100 on the pitch count is going to work and try and send this to another inning, try to force an 8th. Whether he'll be part of it or not, I would doubt it, but his job is to keep this game tied some way, somehow. This is Thompson. I think it was Thompson who made the throw from out there in right that didn't bounce. It was hard to see whether it was Thompson or the right fielder Belisario. We'll give Thompson the credit, and he's going to swing and pop one up. So needing a base runner. Should be retired, will be retired. Pop up to Lawson. Outs on the bases and double plays has kind of been the storyline today. Whether it's been the DPs that have been turned, the caught stealings, and out of the plate, whatnot, that have ended some innings. And now we turn this lineup over for Valdez, who walked and scored back in the 5th. 0 for 2 officially. Takes strike 1, and Yamamoto just keeps pumping strikes. He was at 94 pitches back in the 5th inning. Well, now working into the 7th. And I feel like these hitters have helped him out. Both Thompson with that pop-up, and then Valdez there swinging at a pitch probably out of the zone. And it's 0-2. And that's right down the chute. So you swing at a pitch that's a ball, you take a pitch that's a strike, and that is a pop-up and a quick strikeout. When you got a pitcher who's been effective but is running up a big pitch count, the last thing you want is a quick pop-up and a 3-pitch K. But that's what TNXL has put forth so far. And now Belisario will bat with the bases empty and 2 gone. He's been on base all 3 times. 1, he reached on an error. 2 singles in the middle of that. And Yamamoto back to painting. So we gave up the 3 runs in the 5th, but nothing in the 6th. Looking for a really quick 7th. Even the final out in the 5th after he gave up 3 runs, it was Herb who got caught in a rundown between 2nd and 3rd, and we saw the throw to 3rd and quite an argument. It looked like maybe he had gotten in under the tag, but not sure if he was called out for being out of the baseline or whatnot, but it ended the inning. Otherwise, who knows, TNXL might have scored another, and that's strike 3. Yamamoto could not have had an easier 7th inning. 7 innings, not enough. We're going to the 8th. Still tied at 5 in the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. What a game from Yamamoto. 5 runs, 11 hits for P27. TNXL just really a terrible bottom of the 7th is Yamamoto Cruz. They have 5 runs on 9 hits, so we go to the 8th. TNXL could have won with a run. P27 had a chance to take the lead in the top of the inning. Cisneros faced one batter. Wagner got the high bloop double down the right field line, but Alberti was out at the plate on the throw that came in from, we believe, the second baseman Thompson. So Cisneros now will face Lawson to lead things off. He is the cleanup hitter. Brendan Lawson's 0 for 3. All 3 times he's hit the ball on the ground. One of those into a double play. Boy, holds those hands high above his helmet. Brings him down into the slot, takes one in. Worth repeating again, should P27 win, they would force the if game, so they are in their 6th. TNXL on their 3rd so far, but trying to force another. Cisneros not close, 3-0. Cisneros, the 4th pitcher used by TNXL, and it is nail-biting time in that dugout. Times 2. Got to believe Lawson will force Cisneros to throw him a strike. He does. That's a tight 3-0 strike. How aggressive will he be here? Needing a base runner, trying to get something going in this 8th. No runner on base. Boy, that is not the swing you want, 3-1. He was in swing mode. That wasn't close. But again, no runner out there, so playing it per normal. Much better read there on that pitch. Lawson would not chase. He'll draw the walk. Free base runner to begin the top of the 8th inning for P27. We've had teams today attempt bunts. Those have not really worked. Tried the running game. We've had some hit and runs that have had some success, but not necessarily stealing bases.
Not you, baby, not you.
Lawson's probably not your guy to steal, and you want Turner to have a good swing, because what Turner has done today has been impressive. He has gone single, double, and triple in succession. If he'd homer here, he'd have the natural cycle, checking off each element as he goes through his day. His triple in the 6th just missed being a home run. Hit on the top of the fence, kind of hugged the top of the fence for a few feet and rolled back in. Corey Warner, the head coach, P27 out of Lexington, South Carolina. A quick word with Turner, and obviously with a runner at first, there might be some conversation here. I don't know whether you give the guy one big swing and then you put something on or not. We're about to find out. Cisneros has faced 2 batters, given up a double and a walk. Boy, that one was gloved by Guthrie, and what a nice job by Guthrie to come up with that ball. He was the man who applied the tag and took a bump from Alberti last inning. He had to kind of reach behind the helmet of Cameron Turner. Could use a strike.
Nope.
That's a check swing. Turner was in swing mode, able to resist. It's 3-1. So even after that conversation, nothing in the works. They want Turner to swing the bat with Lawson at first. Cisneros needs a strike again. Nearly hit Turner. So not the way they wanted to begin, with a couple of walks in the 8th inning. And this is what Turner had done previously. First, he got the infield single. Didn't exactly tear the cover off the ball. He'll take it. Then he poked a double down the lane and right. Now he's just kind of getting warmed up. And then he had the triple, which just missed being a home run. Watch this effort at the fence by Gummersbach. He leaped up. It just kind of rode that fence. Instead of rolling over, it stayed back in. Now will Alamais be bunting? And he is going to try. Stabbed at it a bit on a low pitch. Not an easy one to bunt. Bunted it foul. 7 is 1 for 2 with a walk. He scored a run way back in the 2nd inning with a couple of free base runners. P27 playing to advance them. They didn't get the bunt down in fair territory. Will they do it again? And will Cisneros give him a pitch to bunt? He's going to square, and the wild pitch will provide the free bases anyhow. So Alamais was up there trying to provide an out to move up the runners. He doesn't have to do so. They both move up. And the count 1-1. P27 had a brief lead in the 5th inning. That's it. Another one nearly yanked to the backstop. It was 4-2 in the top of the 5th, and TNXL provided 3 in the bottom of the inning for a 5-4 lead. P27 got the run in the 6th after that triple from Turner we just showed you. That's where we have stayed since. Alamais would love to get a pitch to drive, and he fouled it straight back. Cisneros had not been in the zone for a few, and he was there, and Alamais took a big rip. Alamais keeps losing a button every time up. First it was the top one, now it's the second one. Looks like he's had a busy day of work. The 2-2 on the way. You could see Cisneros thinking about trying to get that sweeper, that slider, and a swing and a miss for strike 3. He'd almost be better off maybe starting that over the inside edge and getting the break away. When he's run that outside, it's just carried further off the plate. Alamais really spreading out wide, maybe a 2-strike approach here. And the payoff pitch, not close. 3 straight walks to begin the 8th inning. 4 pitchers have been used already by TNXL. I'm curious if they might have another warming in the bullpen and might want to bring on a 5th. And at some point, you play to win this game. You know there will be another one should you lose if you're TNXL. You hate to start thinking ahead too much, but if P27 scores a couple of runs, that might be part of the thought process. Here's Morales, 2 singles. He's also hit into a double play. That's the pitch that's been a problem, though, for Cisneros. Those right-handed hitters see that out of his hand as outside, and there's been no need to chase. Pretty good fastball in the corner, called a strike, and might have been just a tad off, but he got the call. Sometimes it's hard to get that strike call when you've been a little bit erratic this inning with 3 walks, but he needed it. He got it. Here's the 1-1, up and in to Morales. He's had a 3-hit, 2 RBI game already in this event. Driven in a run today, and 3 more teammates out there. Fouled back. It's TNXL that goes by the Ducks, and again, nail-biting time in the dugout. Well, there's 3 ducks on the pond for P27 in the top of the 8th inning in extras. 7 not enough to decide it. Can P27 take the lead? That was a really nice pitch. And somehow Morales got a piece to spoil it.
Deep breath, shorten it up. Pepper. Tiene dos.
Another big pitch. Lifted in the air towards right field. This ball is going to be caught. Should provide a run, and it will. A sac fly. Chases home Lawson. P27 back in front here in the top of the 8th inning, and a sac fly from Morales. His 2nd RBI of the game. And it also allowed Turner to move up to 3rd. Alamais stayed at 1st, so it keeps the double play in effect. TNXL got the first out of the inning. Belisario likes to show off his arm out and right, but not much of a chance there. This is Willis. Singled and double, he struck out, 2 for 3. P27 back in front, looking for more now. give them a little bit of insurance or a cushion before the bottom of the frame. Arkansas commit. Arkansas lost a tough one in 11 last night in College Station to Texas A&M in a top 5 matchup, a game that had, I don't know, started an hour and a half late because of 5 inches of rain during the day. Texas lost their batter's eye. It blew over. There was a million without power in Houston because of a tornado-like storm. So luckily no weather like that in Georgia today. That pitch is down in the dirt. Two and 0. Three walks, a wild pitch, and a sac fly this inning. Is that a swing? Might be. Our umpire says yes. Willis unable to hold back. That really infuriates you 2-0 or 3-0. I mean, if you're going to swing, you want to cut it loose. You don't want to check swing on a fastball. And that one, though, catches a little bit of that outside corner, and Cisneros needed that. He's battled back from 2-0 to 2-2. Another big pitch. Wave and a miss. Huge strikeout for Cisneros against Willis, who had been hot. And that is the second out of the inning. This almost looked like a little bit of cut action. Tighter slider, hard cutter, whatever it is, it had some movement, and it misses the bat. Ryan Johnson in. 0 for 3 to this point. He turns on a pitch and just destroyed it, but a mile foul. Johnson's had to face the left-hander Drummond the last 2 times in, and that was not a fun sequence of at-bats. Getting a righty here, and he's down in the count 0-2. So Cisneros, who walked the first 3 with a wild pitch to begin this inning, has really kind of found his command since. Can he end the inning? Can he send us to the bottom of the 8th? Not a bad 2-strike pitch at all, and advancing will be out of Mace. So he took off once he saw that ball down. Takes away a force at second. Also means a base hit could provide 2 runs for P27. See what Cisneros does. 1-2, the pitch. High out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A run home in this 8th inning. Next pitch to Johnson bounces, so Cisneros maybe trying to see if he can get Johnson to chase. It's now seen the count go full. Just as soon end this inning here. Soto, the 10-hole hitter on deck. Each team batting 10 with an extra hitter. Here comes the payoff. Wave and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning after the sac fly gave P27 a lead. Will 1 run be enough? We'll find out to the bottom of the 8th. TNXL needs a comeback now. This sac fly gave P27 a 6-5 advantage. Bring you back into the East Cobb Complex. Game of the week brought to you by Launch Hydrate. We're in extras going to the bottom of the 8th. P27 with the run. Here comes Yamamoto again. He's got to be at about 130 pitches. 110. I might dispute that. He was at 94 in the 5th. Now, he did have a quick 6th and 7th, but that's still 6 outs. Regardless, he struck out 9. We were wondering when he got close to 100 whether that might be enough. Well, he's actually gotten better in these last couple of innings. Gave up a hit in the 6th, but also caught a bunt that was popped up and turned it into a double play, so he only faced 3 batters. Last inning, he went pop-up, strikeout, strikeout, and then watched his team score a run in the top of the 8th. So here we go, bottom of the 8th inning. It is the heart of the lineup, however, 3, 4, and 5. And the shortstop, Jack Lyons, who's 0 for 3, scored a run and been fabulous with the glove. Will try and get on base. TNXL with a couple of runs can win the whole thing. P27 finishes it here. There'll be an if game. Bouncer to short, to Soto. And the throw was high. Boy, that looked like a routine play. Now, obviously, Jack Lyons runs well, but Soto may have just taken a little bit too much time, and then he pulled his first baseman Turner from the bag. I mean, you get this hop right here, little extra skid, and then he just threw one high, and it should have been an out on one pitch. Instead, it's a base runner. And here's Martinez. Now, you wouldn't ask your cleanup hitter to bunt, would you? Martinez drove in a run way back in the 1st. Pretty good pitch, but maybe a little bit down and in. Boy, if you're Yamamoto and you're 110 pitches in at least, and you get a ground ball to short in the bottom of the 8th, a routine play, you want that out badly. It allows you to gain some momentum and not be in a position now where a long ball would lose the game. Martinez is going to lose that one, popped up back and out of play.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
What Yamamoto has done, though, and we talked about his pitch count earlier for the young man that born in Hiroshima, really a multitude of different pitches. It's been that slider that's had some break away from the righties. That's caused some problems. Threw more of a curve here. Hit hard down the line and left, but foul. It looks like we might be seeing a few raindrops as well there in Marietta. One ball, 2 strikes. Hard on the ground to short. Can they get 2? There's one. On to first. Double play. Nicely scooped by Turner. Lawson made a strong throw. And the cleanup hitter Martinez rolls into a 6-4-3 DP. Boy, once you made an error on a throw, you want that ball coming back to you. This one was hit so hard it kind of propelled Soto down to a knee. Lawson with a strong throw and a scoop from Turner. And just like that, TNXL down to its final out. And Yamamoto is trying to cruise through these last 3 innings without giving up a run. And this is Herb, who walked back in the 5th. Worth repeating, he just continues to get stronger. If you can go through the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings, when you're over 100 on the pitch count and only give up 1 hit and no runs, well, that'd be something. Our plate umpire's having a long conversation behind the backstop, and I hate to tell him, this team's down to its final out, nearly its final strike, and I'm not sure if it's a weather-related concern. But P27 trying to force an if game. They're trying to play their 7th here in the last few days. And the pitch to Tyler Herb is a strike call.
One more, baby.
Tell you what, I want my pitcher to have that baseball too. Down to the final out or strike, the last thing I want him to do is chase And you see him running back up there. Want to keep him in some type of rhythm between an umpire conversation and the throwaway. Interesting. Anyhow, down to the final strike. Fouled away. (6-5), bottom of the 8th inning. Yamamoto went to the rosin bag. Can he end it here? He cannot. Seen a little more of that curve, it feels like, later in the game rather than that slider. So I don't know if it's a feel thing, whether it's showing these hitters something different. It is the 4th time through the lineup, so they've seen a little bit of everything. And the 2-2. Stroked in the air, right center field, hit well. This ball will be caught to end the game. Diving catch in right center to end it. Yamamoto goes 8-7 wasn't enough. And P27 forces the if game. What a contest. So P27, they've had to come through the losers bracket. And my goodness, it has been quite a day. This their 6th game. Trying to play a 7th, they will. Watch this catch out there in right center field. McFarland and Wagner pursuing. And it was a dive by Wagner to end the game. And again, forcing the if. So congratulations to P27. Been a long couple of days, but a fun few as well in the National Academies Association Premier Bracket. 8 innings. P27 with a 6-5 win. And you can see where these teams will, they'll be pretty competitive. We had an ejection right out of the gates, which was unusual. Very little separation. These teams went back and forth. Defense was a huge part of it. Our shortstops, that's Lines with a fantastic play. We saw more of him later on. The biggest inning was a 3-run 5th for TNXL and a steal of home as well. So just when you thought you've seen a little bit of everything, that was a successful steal of home by Martinez. And a lot of balls put in play, a lot of base runners as well. Until finally, P27 got 3 walks, a sac fly in the 8th to take the lead. And then Yamamoto went the distance. 8 innings, about 120 pitches, giving P27 the 6-5 win in 8 to force the if game. So for our entire crew, I'm Brett Dolden. Thanks for tuning in. The perfect game of the week, brought to you by Launch Hydrate. What a contest, part of the NAA Premier Bracket Championship. So long from East Cobb.